The house in the woods. A woodcutter lived with his wife and 3 daughters in a little hut near a forest. One morning, when he went out to work, he said, "Wife, I shall not be ready to come home at noon and I shall be hungry. Send my dinner to me by our oldest daughter. To show the way, I will take a pocketful of wheat and scatter it along my path." Away he went with his axe on his shoulder. Just before noon his daughter went into the woods. She carried a jug of soup and some bread for her father's dinner. She looked in vain for the wheat which was to show her the path. The sparrows and finches had picked up every grain. She went on, till the sun set and it began to grow dark. The trees rustled, the owls hooted, and the girl began to feel afraid. All at once she saw a far-off light twinkling through the trees. "People live there," she thought. "No doubt they will shelter me for the night." She walked toward the light and came to a little house in the woods. She knocked at the door, and a gruff voice said, "Come in." She went and found an old man sitting beside a table. His white beard almost touched the floor. In the room were 3 animals, a hen, a cock, and a brindled cow. "I have lost my way in the forest," said the girl to the old man. "May I spend the night here?" Instead of answering her, he turned to the animals and said, "Pretty fowls and brindled cow, what have you to answer now?" "Cluck!" said the hen. "Cock-a-doodle-doo!" said the cock. "Moo!" said the tired. "Where shall I sleep?" The animals replied, "Of yourself alone you thought, now tonight rest as you ought." The girl was so sleepy that she hardly heard what they said. "Go upstairs," said the old man. "You will find 2 rooms, with a bed in each. Make both beds before you sleep." The girl went upstairs and made the bed in the larger room. Then she dropped down and went fast asleep. After a while the old man came upstairs. Finding his bed not made and the girl asleep, he shook his head. Then he opened the door in the floor and let her bed drop down into the cellar. Late in the evening the woodcutter went home. He scolded his wife for having left him the whole day without food. "It is not my fault," she said. "I sent our daughter with your dinner. She must have lost the way. She will be back tomorrow, no doubt." Early the next morning the woodcutter had to go to his work. "Send our second daughter with my dinner today," he said. "I will carry a pocketful of peas. They are larger than grains of wheat. She will see them and not lose the way." But at noon, when the girl went with her father's dinner, the peas were all gone. The wood birds had picked them up. Not one was left to show the path. The girl walked up and down in the forest all day. At last she came to the old man's cottage and was given food and shelter. She, too, failed to feed the animals or to make the old man's bed. While she slept, he opened the door. Down she dropped into the cellar as her sister had done. On the 3rd morning the woodcutter told his wife to send their youngest child with his dinner. "She is always good and obedient," he said. "She will keep in the path and not lose her way as her sisters did. They roam here and there like wild bees when they swarm." "No," said the mother, "I do not wish our youngest child to go. What if she lose her way, too?" "Do not fear," said the father, "she is careful and wise, and she will find the way. Besides, I will fill my pockets with beans. These I will scatter along the path." But when his daughter went into the forest, there were no beans to be seen. The doves had eaten them all, and so she knew not which way to go. She thought sadly how hungry her father was and how her mother would grieve for her. At dark she also saw the light and came to the house in the woods. She went in and begged shelter as her sisters had done. When it was granted, she patted the cow and stroked the feathers of the hen and the cock. The old man told her to cook supper, and she did so at once. Then she said, "Shall I have plenty while the good beasts want food?" So she gave grain to the fowls and an armful of sweet hay to the cow. "Eat, dear animals," she said. "Perhaps you are thirsty, too. I will bring you fresh water." When this was done, she seated herself at the table and ate her supper. Soon the fowls put their heads behind their wings and the cow shut her eyes. Then the girl asked, "Shall we not go to rest?" The old man said, "Pretty foul indeed, brindled cow. Shall this maiden sleep here now?" Sleep. At midnight she was awakened by strange noises. The house was creaking and cracking. The doors flew open. At last there was a crash as if the roof and walls had fallen in. Then all was still. The maiden had been too frightened to move. Indeed, all had happened so quickly that she would hardly have had time to do so. Now, finding she was not hurt and all was quiet, she lay still and went to sleep again. In the morning she was wakened by the sun in her face. What a sight met her eyes! She was lying in a large, beautiful room. There were mirrors on the wall and the bed was covered with cloth of gold. It must be that I am dreaming, thought the maiden. But while she was rubbing her eyes, 3 servants came in and asked what they could do for her. "Nothing," she said. "I do not know what all this means. But I must get up and cook the old man's breakfast and feed the hen and the cock and the cow. Then I must hurry home to my mother." She dressed quickly and went to the old man's room. What was her surprise to find there a young man in scarlet and gold. "I am a king's son," he said. "I was changed into a great old man. My castle became a cottage and my 3 faithful servants were changed into a hen, a cock, and a cow. We could be set free only by a maiden who should be as kind to beasts as to men. You are that maiden, and at midnight we were all set free. I am a princess again, and here are my castle and my servants. Now I will send for your father and mother. I wish you to stay here and be my wife." "But where are my sisters?" she asked. "They are still in the cellar," he replied. "But I cannot set them free. They must work as servants in the forest until they learn to be